For us, it is not a destination at the moment because we bring tourists mostly from Europe for the nature part more, and of course for the culture part more. Culturally, of course, it is important, but you have to get a volume to start. And to be honest, in a country to do operations to two different destinations is not very easy. At the moment, it is not in short-term plan. But as I said, like in aviation, in the world also, everything changed very quick. Like 2 years later, 3 years later, we can definitely speak different things. But at the moment, for our customer profile, passenger profile, it's not the very feasible to start at the beginning. If you ask me what we achieved more, we didn't just focus on selling the tickets. We tried to make that bridge between two countries. Country has a big potential, and now when people look, they just look on the, when you ask that, like if the country is rich, poor, everybody just looks at the GDP and other values, but other things, or trade levels. But we should not forget that the main richness is the culture you have.
Good afternoon. Today we have our guest, Mr. Abdullah Tuncer Kececi, General Manager of Turkish Air in Nepal. Welcome to the show, Mr. Abdullah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So, how are you?
Fine. Very nice to see you.
So,
and you said the name very well. Don't worry.
Okay.
Pronunciation was almost perfect.
So, how is your stay so far in Nepal as a General Manager of Turkish Air?
It's fine. It's a really good time. I'm here for like almost 6.5 years now. End of this month, it's 6.5 years is finishing. So it was a nice stay. It was a nice work to work with Nepalese friends. To have that environment was great for us. It was a big kind of experience, plus also lifetime for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you going from here?
Let's see. Let's see.
Any decision?
Let's see. Like, of course, we are appointed for some terms. So that terms were a little bit more than normal because of the pandemic conditions and other conditions. So we'll see what it happens. I mean, wherever company wants us to go, we go accordingly, honestly. Because since company is growing, having many destinations all around the world, all our destinations are kind of candidate for me to go.
So, since you are going, can you share some of your experiences, some good ones, some where we have to improve?
Almost all of them are good ones. So, like of course, good and bad. They should be ups and downs. Should be in life in a balanced way. But all over, it was, as I said, it was a great time. We had some difficulties together. We had some good time together. We had some challenges together. Sometimes we all together work to pass the challenges, to manage the challenges. Also, we tried to survive at some time. During pandemic time, it was not easy for us. And operation wise, like we had ups and downs. Operation in Nepal is not very easy. And for us, for Turkish Airlines, since Nepal is a tourism destination, we tried to bring many people from all around the world. And I think our main activity here, what we did for the country, was trying to bring as much as tourists to country, and that really motivated us. Because once you achieve, you want to do more. Then when you have more flights, you want to increase the number of flights. So those are challenges, but at the same time, which keeps you dynamic, which helps the nation, which helps your, of course, company. So those were the mainly good things. Like there are no bad things, let's say, because like that is part of that also. We should focus on good things in the life. I believe in that.
If you say point wise, can you share what is the Turkish Air's contribution in promoting Nepal as a destination? Our
main contribution is like we have 339 destinations all around the world now. Even in pandemic period, it increased. So, like, and also we fly to 128 countries. So means that our main contribution, all our destinations, we can connect to Nepal via Istanbul. So that's the main contribution to tourism. Of course, based on that, all the Nepalese tour operators tourism stakeholders can cross-market Nepal in those countries.
Right.
So they can invite people from those countries. And it is not limited with that. That is the, let's say, device we let's say contribute. But at the same time, as an office in Kathmandu and also as Turkish Airlines worldwide, we try to promote our own destinations also. We have our own agenda. So Turkish Airlines itself also promotes Kathmandu as a destination for tourism.
Right.
Whatever the beauties you have. So also as Kathmandu office, we have been participated in, I think in 5-6 years time, more than 15-20 tourism fairs internationally, starting from like ITB Berlin, WTM in London, Fitur in Spain, Matka, MITT in Moscow, Matka in Finland, EMITT in Istanbul, like many other kind of cross-marketing activities done in Lisbon, America. Also bringing familiarization trips, we call them FAM trips from many destinations in Europe, like from Sweden, from France, from Spain, from Italy, from Germany, from Netherlands, just even in this year's conditions, like from Canada, from America, like almost everywhere, even from South America. So what we do, we coordinate with our stations there, and we tell them to promote Nepal as a tourism destination in their destination.
Okay.
And find some tour operators to send from there to here, so that they can see Nepal's beauty, they can add Nepal in their tour packages, and they can start selling Nepal as a destination. So this is the behind work which you don't see when we are in the going around the city. You don't really see that. But these are the background works we do almost all the year. Just even today we send a mail to stations that like Nepal's tourism season is about to start, and also even off-season activities are possible. So whoever wants to do farm trips to Nepal, please contact with us. Even for next year's plan, we started doing for next year summer already, because it has to be planned prior, so that destinations can do their plans, because we are not the only one. Of course, when Kathmandu wants to invite people here, the other destinations, for example, Vietnam wants people to come there.
Right.
Like sometimes, let's say Tokyo wants there.
Right.
Also Bangkok wants to invite them. So many destinations. We have our also, between the destinations, we have a kind of motivation to each other also. So these are the background contributions what we do. But again, main thing for the passengers, to get easy connection, to get many kind of, even with the timing and other things, having connectivity to Nepal. And because we are the only carrier from Europe, especially from European destinations, it's very easy to reach Nepal by using Turkish Airlines. And in Europe, people has the habit of using Turkish Airlines, which is an advantage for Nepal. I mean, which is, as I said, not seen here, but known there.
Right.
So in Europe, we have 117 destinations. So it means that from 117 cities in Europe, people can fly to Nepal easily with one connection, one stop in Istanbul, then Nepal. So also when going back, one stop in Istanbul and go back to their destination. Like just in Germany, we have more than 15 destinations inside Germany.
Wow.
Almost all Italy, Spain, France, all of them, we have more than 5-6 stations. So definitely this is the advantage, but all the advantages are there if you can use them and if you know how to use them.
All the advantage, potentiality. So what are the challenges that you have faced as an international airlines, operating in Nepal?
Okay, challenges. Main thing is Nepal itself geographically is not an easy destination.
Right.
Because there are mountains. You need to use some special kind of approach systems when you are coming here to make it safer. So for that you have to train all your pilots accordingly. So we bring, for example, instead of 2 pilots, we are coming with 3 pilots to here. So and also we are giving special training to all of them. All the pilots flying here are certificated for that training and they come. So this is kind of background operational difficulty, but it's our job at the same time. I mean, we have to adapt ourselves. Of course, when landing, especially at some time, like after, like in the last 2 years, we don't feel that much, but earlier especially, when the airport was not open 24 hours, when the airport was open for a limited time, there was a congestion, and because like domestic traffic, international traffic were affecting each other, not in a good way, but unfortunately, which is like causing some delays, especially some holds around the city. I can say we were holding more than 45 minutes almost every day. Average, in an average, especially in noontime flights. Of course, this is a cost for an airline. And also this is a losing time for your connection, because since we are connecting to other flights, we don't have too much local travelers from here to Istanbul, Istanbul to here. There is some, but not too much. So the main ratio is still the onward connections. So if your onward connections get late, definitely you get problems of that. We did everything to manage all those. We managed most of them, but of course we were facing this as a difficulty. Because Nepal's airport, geographically, as I said, this is nothing somebody can do something easy. You land from one way, and usually you have to depart the same direction. So it means that who is coming and who is going may affect each other. So they have to keep longer gaps between flights. Definitely, then it is causing air traffic problems, and that was one of the issues, because consuming fuel in the air, just rounding around to find a place to land is not easy. When we talk about cost, the most challenging thing for me, I think I should say that part. But as I said, I'm telling this for the future of Nepal's aviation and tourism. At the moment, my approach is not only Turkish Airlines perspective. The fuel cost in the country is too high. Like unacceptably high. And definitely this is a big disadvantage, because aviation business is like that. Airlines has to make feasible operations, and they have to continue our operations. Then they try to increase their frequency, then they try to increase their load. So that feasible operation is very important for airlines. And when one airlines do successful operation and adds more flight, and then other airlines start doing that, coming more. So, and at this moment, Turkish Airlines plays a critical role, because sometimes you follow, but mostly we are followed since we have most of the destinations. When we have more flights, definitely the other airlines will look with their eye, saying that, okay, something good is happening there, so we have to check, because they are flying more. So there should be more potential we can use. But when the cost is very high, it a little bit discourages the airline to fly more. And we had that, unfortunately. That was the main struggle we had. Like ground handling issues, other issues, we tried to increase the standard as much as we can, up to some level, but there is still way to go on that. So from operational perspective, it is not a very easy destination, I can say that. But we are here to manage that also. So roughly, but from life side, we just see the beauty part of the country, beautiful part of the country. The operational side, even whatever we challenge, we have challenges, we have to manage those challenges.
So how do you see the growth of Nepal's outbound tourism market and the travelers who travel to North America for the VFR segment?
Okay. Outbound segment in Nepal is increasing, I can say. I can see the difference. So compared with before, like 5-6 years back, it increased a lot. So, but yeah, now we have more tourists going out, which is good, honestly, because tourism, I think, is poison for everything. So you know other countries well, you have better relations, and tourism is not only tourism, because tourism touches to every field. So when people goes from here to somewhere as a tourist, I'm sure they also find business opportunities. Since we are in new business age, we have to touch that area. So they find business opportunities also. So we should not think like these guys just went take 2 selfies in front of the heritage sites. It's not like that, you know.
Right.
Like they see opportunities, they see what they can buy, what they can sell, what kind of trade they can do between 2 countries.
Right.
So I think this is a valuable thing. Nepalese travelers increased. So we try to encourage them to go and discover Turkey more also. And as Turkish Airlines, our motto is by using tourism to connect countries to each other. Of course, main role in Nepal is to bridge Nepal and Turkey, but also through, let me correct one thing, Nepal and Turkey, because we use that name now.
Yeah.
So let me correct that, Nepal and Turkey. But after that, via Istanbul also, all around the world. So we are trying to bridge the countries to each other. So we think that those good bridges, which is like with air bridges, let's say, which we use, of course, if there is opportunity, land bridges, sea bridges, whatever all can be there. But those bridges help nations to understand, countries to understand each other well, and to build good relations between each other. So when we talk about today's world, the wars, this, that, whatever happening, I think back poison is always tourism. And because when you go for good reason to see the beauty of that country, you have always good feelings about that country in your mind, and you don't think the other way. Like, and the world is not the world what we see in just news. You know, we have to go explore.
Right.
Like our motto was widen your world for a long time. So we want everybody to have an opening and widen their world to see the world, rest of the world. Now we are saying we are all connected because we believe that we have many similarities between each other.
Yes.
Since we touch the similarities, there are 300 common words between Turkish and Nepalese.
300?
300 common words.
Okay.
We use the same words for same meaning.
Oh, interesting.
So how we know this? When we travel, when we see people using the same language, we understand this better. And we understand that we have many connections which we don't even know well enough.
Right.
So that is the main thing. And if we come back to main question, like yes, there are many Nepalese living in America. There are many Nepalese also living in UK and different countries of Europe. Of course, we want them to use Turkish Airlines because we want to make their life easy. When you say North America, we have now around 12 destinations in America already. Canada, we have also 3 destinations in Canada. And I think the new destinations which just opened, Dallas, Seattle, which we opened, and Denver is on the pipeline also. I think Nepalese population is increasing in those areas they live more. So we started getting more queries from them, which is fine. And we want them to accept Turkish Airlines as Nepal Turkish Airlines at the same time, because we are trying to provide them a good service and good connectivity for their own country plus rest of the world.
So you have flights to Texas also?
We have flight to Dallas and Houston. In that area. Dallas and Houston we have Chicago also. So that's kind of a triangle.
Mostly Nepalese.
In that area they live a lot.
Yes. So what suggestions do you have for the hospitality and travel trade sector in Nepal on how to cope with the challenges that you mentioned?
Not only suggestions, but like the experience I have, let me tell, and the feeling I have. When I came in 2016, everybody was targeting to reach to 1 million tourists.
Yes.
And I was saying that if you target 1 million, you are already 700-800. Like, I'm not counting the year 2015 because of the earthquake.
Minus 2 years.
like 2014, it was around like 700-800 thousand. So if you just target 1 million, honestly, you don't do too many things, you know. You just like try to bring more, you just try to do more marketing. But Nepal was needing some structural change, infrastructural development at the same time. So for that, you have to target a little bit more. And those days, in the meetings when we had with the tourism stakeholders, we said you should target 2 million.
Yes.
Even like 4-5 years time. I mean, not 1 million this year, but 2 million in 4-5 years time. And I was saying also you should target 5 million for the future. And that day, I think, of course, I was not the only person in that idea, and friends shared that idea. Then 2 million target was set for 2020, as you know. Like, forget what happened there, and we should not really focus on the number. Numbers are just a kind of future motivation. Main thing is what you do on the way.
Right.
We have to understand that. In Nepal, infrastructural good changes started happening. New hotels started coming. So this is all like step by step. I mean, you cannot, like today we are 800,000. We did some marketing. We reached to 2 million. It never happens. So we have to understand that this is a kind of journey.
Right.
So what do you do on the way? Like, you try to reach to 2 million. You reach 1.3. But last year you were 1.1. So it means you are still successful. You should not, oh, we couldn't reach that target. You should not never think like that. Tourism business is not like that also, and everything is not under your control only. There
Political,
are many other parameters,
and international environment,
especially. But you have to step by step build gradually up the bricks on top of each other. Then you can reach to targets. So we try to explain that way, because at some period everybody was just focused on the number. We said number is not important, not the deal. So to reach that number, what you are doing will make you reach that number.
Right.
But you have to do that.
Infrastructure wise.
Of course, you have to do them. You have to understand that part of the story. There are many things can be done, honestly. Still, there are many infrastructure things needed in the country. Like, let's say when we were having meetings those days, I was just saying, okay, just make the roads fine enough to reach Chitwan in 2.5 hours. And they were saying, okay, Abdullah, but what is it with the airlines? I said, okay, let me tell you how the system works. So they land at 6:30 in the morning. They do the immigration clearance, 7:15, 7:30. They rent the car in half an hour because the roads are fine. We have rental car places there. So they start the road from 8 from the airport, and they reach to Chitwan 10:30.
Right.
They have their breakfast there. Do I need to tell them to fly with Turkish Airlines? They will already find the best way to come here, you know.
Right.
So if we offer them good things here and easy accessible things here, so you don't need to focus on what you sell as an airline. I mean, that will bring enough. And our main idea for the tourism sector, and especially hospitality area, I realized that most of the people were just focusing on getting big piece from the cake. And we said this cake is not enough. So let's focus on how we can make the cake bigger for everyone. Even if you get the same ratio, it will be big enough. Right. Don't worry. But let's focus on making that big.
Cake bigger, yes.
So like it came like a motto at some time, make the cake bigger. We were always saying that. I believe that the country has a big tourism potential. Like 5 million is not a dream, believe me. But by saying 5 million, I am not just focusing on the numbers. We are, of course, focusing on quality tourism. We are, of course, focusing on preserving the nature environment. That should be done. I mean, that is something which everybody has to worry about and make their plans accordingly. But at the same time, country has a capacity and it should be used. I mean, we cannot say 100,000 is enough for us. Right. Let me tell you my very honest opinion without any filter in my mouth. Okay. Because this country is sending more than 400, 500,000 people abroad to work. Right. That's very huge number. Yes. And now the world is understanding how youth population is important. So if you have opportunity for business for them in tourism areas, and if you can like bring to country around 5 million tourists, think how many of them will be in the country. Yeah, will be staying in the country in that conditions, and which will be the at the beginning will be the service sector production, but at the end of the day, when these much people come, it was agriculture will be there, also important. Restaurants will be there, taxi will be there, advertisement will be there, magazines will be there, newspapers will be there. Because tourism touches somehow to everyone. Whole ecosystem. Yes, I use that word exactly. Thanks for saying. Because when I use, they say, "What do you mean by ecosystem?" Since you use, I can go on that. The ecosystem will get benefit from this. Even the trade people, because more people will come and see the beauty of the country, see how the handicrafts are done, see how the tankas are done, what kind of effort, what kind of art is behind them. They will buy more. These guys will be like from art to restaurant owner, from farmer to let's say big business owner. Right. Like of course the hospitality business itself. Everybody will get benefit from that. And Nepal at the moment, because it's still in LDC league, needs that kind of big movement.
Right.
We have to be realistic. I mean, we have to say the good things for the country, because I believe that true friends always say the truth, and sometimes it may push you a little bit forward by that way also. So country has big potential and it has to use that better. I'm very clear on that.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. It's very wonderful suggestions.
And one more thing which I can add, a good part also, almost every year 40 to 60,000, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but 40 to 60,000 students are going abroad also.
Yes.
This is a huge number. This is not a small number. Yeah. So think that at least half of them comes back and does something for the country. Where will this country fly? Right. I mean, I'm not talking about walking. I'm talking about flying directly, not even running. Right. So to encourage them, to bring them for more business opportunities, this is the need.
Thank you. You mentioned about the infrastructures. Now Nepal has created few airports in Bhairava, in Pokhara. They are talking about Nijghat also, and they have also improved certain things in TIA. So what is your take on that? I mean, your observation. Will it really help, and how are they? I mean,
it will help, of course, but again we should be a little bit patient. Pokhara is not wide body aircraft cannot easily land to Pokhara, but there are many narrow body airplanes which can come in the regionally, which can come and fly to Pokhara directly. Definitely it will also help. When we say international, we talk about the customs, the quality, some level of services we are talking. So that is needed. Pokhara is a very hot destination in Nepal, so it was needed. And one thing, when we say international, we should not all of a sudden wait very big things. We have to go again, step by step. So Bhairava, the Gautam Buddha Airport has a big potential. But that potential has to be, of course, realized. It doesn't happen in 1 minute. Because there are many Buddhist countries around. Especially it will start with pilgrimage tourism, most probably. Those countries has to be encouraged. As I said, I told you a story about what Turkish Airlines do for promoting Nepal's tourism. So of course, from there, from here, from everywhere, people should go and promote in the destinations which is regionally close to Nepal and which can have potential at the moment. And again, this is an ecosystem issue. Yeah, when Bhairava also and that area, Lumbini, Butwal, all of them starts giving better services, then definitely the numbers will start increasing. Tour operators should be encouraged to start their tour packages from there. Right. So some will just do 3 days, just Lumbini area, but we have to create some activities, hotels, hospitals. So everything has to be around. And when an airport comes, it may come interesting to you, but you see significant change in a very short period of time. Right. Like you are in a village and the road comes. So think what changed in very short period of time. So this will also bring many change, many positive change. It will not happen in a minute. It will not happen in a minute. It will take some time, but again, this is a journey. It has to be planned.
My question is, so far only Al Jazeera and another airline has.
Only Jazeera is flying at the moment.
So what about Turkey here? I mean, have you
for us, it's not easy. For us, it is not a destination at the moment because we bring tourists mostly from Europe for the nature part more. And of course for the culture part more. Culturally, of course, it is important, but you have to get a volume to start. And to be honest, in a country to do operations to 2 different destinations is not very easy. At the moment, it is not in short-term plan. But as I said, in aviation, in the world also, everything changed very quick. 2 years later, 3 years later, we can definitely speak different things. But at the moment, for our customer profile, passenger profile, it's not very feasible to start at the beginning. But when we see the movement, first of all, we want to increase in Kathmandu because we have potential. We want to bring more people. That's our first target. As I said, but there is an operational ecosystem has to be better in Nepal, because if the fuel prices are lower, if the ground handling charges are lower, because we have a competition with other countries. We should never forget that. It's not like that. We have number of airlines waiting for us. All their aircrafts are ready for us. All the crews are waiting for call, and they want to fly to here. There's not a word like that. We have a big competition with other destinations. So we have to make Nepal like very welcoming destination for sure. Very good with the nature, but we have to work on it. For example, now when you check any web page about Nepal and tourism, you just see March and April, and September, October, November is season. But Nepal has many off-season activities. So it means we have to focus on promoting that. Again, this is an ecosystem, as I said. Like tourism has to be 12 years. So there are many activities which can be done. What happened in Nepal? Mountains are very strong point. But if you just put your back to the mountains, it becomes your weak point. You have to do something else. To sell it. Because mountains are already there. You don't need to tell that to anyone. I mean, you don't need to say that Everest is in Nepal. Everybody knows almost. But what they can do in Nepal is their part. So if they are not a trekking person, if they are not climber, so what will attract them? So we should focus on those issues. We know that Nepal is very rich with the culture. I'm telling you, like I gave this example everywhere. For photo shooting, one of the best places. With the natural cast, film shooting, it can be one of the best destinations. If you want to do rafting in the rivers, there is 6,500 rivers in the country. I think the best rafting parkour should be in Nepal according to these numbers. When you talk about, of course, cultural activities, there is, as I know, more than 120 different ethnic groups which has their own rituals and they are living. That is the good part. Like there may be ethnic groups everywhere, but they are not doing anything. But in Nepal, they are actively having their own rituals and everything. So when you have these kinds of richnesses, when you want to do like anything related with adventure sports, should be one of the best destinations. When you have all this, I think you should not focus on, and also wellness. Wellness. When I say wellness, but I'm not just talking about the small spa in a hotel. I'm talking about the wellness
whole package,
which can be a yoga, of course, like thing like that. You wake up in the hotel in the morning, you go out, so you want to do yoga. When you look there, you see a wonderful mountain. Mountain is already there, but you should tell the yoga there. You should not tell about the mountain. So, and our motto for Nepal is Nepal more than mountains. And when you say Nepal more than mountains, you are saying that mountains are there, and we have more than that to offer. And again, if we come back to question, yes, of course, if these kinds of things are more well explained and well marketed, Nepal has many potentials. Yes, just yesterday we were talking, we did Kora cycling event 2-3 weeks back. It's one of the, again, I forgot that, mountain biking, one of the best destinations in the world. So where can you do mountain biking better than Nepal? I asked these questions to many people. If you know better destination than Nepal, please tell me. There was no single example. All the mountains are already there and you are doing biking. But we are not saying that come to mountain. We are saying come for mountain biking. That is the mindset. If we have, instead of maybe saying sometimes trekking only, maybe we should say natural walks, walking in the nature, walking in the forest. So like even the people who thinks that they cannot do trekking, maybe they will be encouraged. Birds of the country, many bird kinds, one of the heavens normally. But we don't have a bird heaven. Why don't we have a bird heaven? We should have all these.
You need to create the stories.
There are many things, but in Nepal, the good chance, you can create many stories. Like if you go to a beach, the destination with the beach only, you can just go and swim. Like what else? Tell me. You can go and swim, and maybe next to the sea you can have a drink or like have some dinner. Okay, what is the third one? Again, you go and swim. That's it. So Nepal has big potential. We have to understand that. I'm sure many people knows that, but sometimes you have to trigger from some point.
You know, it's been 9 years, almost 9 years since Turkish Airlines started service here. So, in the meantime, what do you think are the achievements of this airline as service providers here?
Okay, in the first of all, in the worldwide, Turkish Airlines grew big, and when you grow, let me explain that, as you'll get it because you are a business person. When you grow one in overall, it affects positively all your destinations,
right?
Because it means that you create new markets, you create new passengers, new potential passengers. So you try to add from those stations to your, like, bring some people from there to other destinations, from here to there. So that growth traffic, of course, will affect Nepal positively. That's one. Main achievement we have, I think now everybody knows about Turkish Airlines in Nepal, which we are very happy. During hard times also, we tried to continue operation, keep our operation open. At the time when the pandemic time, when it is needed more, we were there in the market and we tried to give at least connectivity to people. So, and for us, like, all the passengers are important, but the nature of the Nepali people, we know that, I think, by heart. So we try to make them comfortable. We try to make them feel that it's like when they see Turkish Airlines airplane in, let's say, Dallas, they are close to home. So we want them to feel like that. We had good relations with almost all the, like, public places, but for us, if you ask me what we achieved more, we didn't just focus on selling the tickets. We tried to make that bridge between two countries, and I think most successful point for us, me and my friends in the office, is that one. Because we don't have embassy at the moment. Hope it will be coming next year. That is the plan. But since we don't have, we should explain more about Turkey and Turkish people. And it is very well understood. The value we are giving to people is well understood. We are happy to achieve that from our side. They had some habits. We changed the habits a little bit to fly with Turkish Airlines more. And we did many events, activities at this time. Some of them you already know. We tried to touch small hand, but not maybe big support. But we tried to touch small hand to almost many activities which will help people to improve themselves, to improve their businesses. It may come interesting to you, but we maybe supported more than 15 entrepreneurship days in Nepal. So almost every year, 3-4. Every year. We did from banking summit to infrastructure summit. Like from new business age, you know, award ceremonies to, like, even school futsal cups sometimes.
Yeah, I see you everywhere.
Like from like basketball to cricket, from football, street children football to wheelchair basketball league. We try to be active in almost every field. Like, especially with teenagers, we did many programs. Like youth programs, we gave big importance, and we always say that if there is something we can do for women empowerment, for youth empowerment, for children's empowerment, plus differently abled people empowerment, and which is good for country, we'll always try to support, more or less, as I said. Sometimes support word itself means a lot, so we try to do that, and we build up good relations. I think that's the biggest achievement we have. So when somebody has something to do good for the country, they first approach us, and we are very proud of it.
People have Turkish Airlines in the top of the mind.
That's good for us.
As a premium airlines destination. You know, most of the foreign airlines flying to and from Nepal seem deriving the main business from the migrant workers. So how is the composition of passengers of Turkish Airlines that is carrying? I
think that is the main story behind all this. Because, we respect all passengers, that's okay. But as I said, migrant workers also need to fly, and definitely we need airlines for that. That's fine. Sometimes they also fly with us. We are also very fine. But we look from a different angle to the country. So we are not focused on that
segment.
So we are not focused on that. They are like hardly welcome. We are very happy if they fly with us, because going to another destination to work and bring something back to your country is something we respect a lot. But main thing here is when you look from a different angle, we look a little bit from outside, not trying to improve our migrant worker business inside. So our angle is, we see the country, this is a good country, this is a tourism destination. How can we contribute more to this country? How can we bring more people to this country? That's one of the reasons that, if I come back to that entrepreneurship thing, we believe that today's entrepreneurs are tomorrow's business people.
Yes.
So these are the people who will bring more capacity. These should be helpful for the nation to make that cake bigger. If we combine everything together, these are the people who will make that cake bigger for everyone. So that's why we are touching to those areas, and we are interested in total improvement, total quality improvement, total achievement of the nation is more of our interest. So we look with that angle, and that's why we try to find areas to support in that wide.
So Turkish Airlines has branded itself as a premium kind of airlines.
Yeah, of course.
And focus more to the tourists.
Yeah, for Nepal, yes. Depends on the destination, of course. But worldwide, yes, we are. Worldwide, yes, we are. As I said, from worldwide, we have the highest number of destinations. We are flying to the highest number of the countries. So our main thing is to connect all the world to each other with bridges, so that wars don't happen. People understand each other better. They have more trade options. They have more tourism options, and all the industry can benefit from that.
And how about the segments of the tourists? Which country more?
Tourists mostly European. At some period, European, especially in that more touristical months, more European. But today, of course, my mobile, if I show you, today more than 150 tourists came also and left, which they came already. They left today with today's flight. So especially a little bit seasonality in tourist numbers also. But I can say mostly they are from Europe, because Europe is our main destination. From America also. From South America also.
From Japan.
In March, April part, when you look at our numbers, I think around 90% is tourists, coming and going tourists. So it's sometimes even past that number. But in of course, in off-season days, it's mixed. In November, October, that part also, mostly tourists, but also some Nepalese VFR, as you said, who is coming for Dasain and TR festivals. So we have a diversity, but of course, mostly we are focused on bringing more tourists. So when there is more capacity, we have to use that. We make special agreements with destinations, with tour operators. Our stations there also support us. So that's the segmentation, I can say. And we try to make flights with a good quality, premium quality, with a reasonable price. That's the main thing we have. And what we promise ourselves and try to do that, whatever you see today, tomorrow it will be better. So we continuously try to improve ourselves at the same time. And now, of course, with the new concerns, like environmental concerns, Turkish Airlines just declared at 1st of August a big campaign. And when we discussed, we had now biofuel aircrafts flying also for sustainability.
Where is it
every week it's going to different destinations at the moment, but the numbers are increasing. Earlier it started with one flight. Then it started increasing. So we have
100% biofuel.
Yeah, biofuel. Done in Turkish Airlines' own fuel company also.
Wow.
Yeah,
interesting.
We have around 18 sub companies under Turkish Airlines umbrella, including from galley, which means kitchen in the aircraft, to the seats, fuel companies, IT companies. We have many companies under Turkish Airlines umbrella.
Subsidiary.
Aviation training companies, aviation academies. So we have many things. Now also, like what we realized, everybody started talking too much about environment these days. But when we look at our archives, we realized that from 2008 onwards, we had continuously movement in that area, and more than 100 implementations were there already. Projects were there to make it like with less carbon print. Turkish Airlines were working on that, still working on that, and it will be also one of the main agendas from now on, since company just layered the new policies about the environmental concerns just 2 days back.
Okay, interesting. So, what do you expect Nepal to do that you can bring more tourists to Nepal?
We have to explain that Nepal is more than mountains. Let me give short answer. I like talking more, as you can understand, but let me give you short answer this time. Nepal more than mountains. We just need to explain that.
Okay.
So when you explain that, then everybody will find many options. Of course, like when people start coming, improvements will be there. And marketing is important. I don't need to say that they are already there. So tourism board, other stakeholders, they should be working on that continuously. Marketing is not like one time you do kind of thing. You have to continuously keep that alive. And as I said, main thing is we should explain that Nepal is more than mountains and people can come for other reasons, even in off season. That's the main thing.
That is on the part of branding, marketing, promoting. What about the policy issues? I mean, is this Civil Aviation Authority CAN working properly to support?
They are our big boss.
He can
they are our big boss. So honestly, everybody, I'm not in a position to teach people what to do. I'm sure they know. Sometimes things take time. That ecosystem gets ready a little bit late. I'm sure everybody is in the correct track, but there are many things to be done. Definitely we are continuously reporting them because, as I said, after some point, okay, we are representing a company here, but what we talk, we are an aviation people at the end of the day. My first priority will be the movement of aviation, of course. If aviation moves only, the companies will have meanings. The airline companies will have meaning. So we approach with that focus, and whatever we see that needs to be touched, we are advising or we are saying our idea if they ask us. We are here for that also. But main thing is, as I said, in Nepal, first that ground handling is only with Nepal Airlines at the moment. Fuel is only with NOC at the moment. So I think these are the first areas which should be touched, because when we encourage more airlines to come, the system will also, whatever there in the system will be accordingly.
There should be more players so that it is easier.
More players are always fine because they help you to make your policies
yes.
in a better way. Like policy level, all operators will also sometimes push you, sometimes support you, but work together and you will make all the policies in a better way.
Though earlier you mentioned how Turkish Airlines is actively involved in various events, but still if you have more to share on the area of entrepreneurship or inclusion, have you?
Honestly, entrepreneurship part, we are very happy because, as I said, we see that people as the business people of the future. And when there are more entrepreneurs, when there are more startups in the country, and when we have more successful stories for them, we'll encourage the rest of the population also, rest of the youth who is living abroad, did not decide to come to Nepal yet. When they see this climate, the ecosystem again, so then they will be more willing to come to countries and see that they can do something. We advise for that, just like 2-3 weeks with CNI, we did a startup event, we work with them. Like when I say we did, don't misunderstand, we give small support from our side, but they did the event, of course, very successfully. So these kinds of things are needed. Of course, we are also giving importance to future collaborations between Turkish companies and startups here, all Turkish startup companies there. So I think that is the main area we need to focus, because sometimes you find more opportunities in these kind of countries, because there are many areas which needs to be touched. Many things can be done, from infrastructure to technology, and I can see there are, compared with 5-6 years ago, we are in a big move, I can say.
So, what are the plans of Turkish Airlines in Nepal?
We want to increase our flights, of course, and we want to continue promoting Nepal as a tourism destination as always. Definitely, we give importance to, as I say, bilateral relations. Again, invisible part of the story, but the trade level between Turkey and Nepal increased more than 7-8 times in this 9-year time.
9 years.
So this is something achieved already, I mean, because how does this happen?
Right.
And not only we should not just focus on the numbers between Turkey and Nepal, because through Istanbul you can trade to other places, and maybe earlier you were not doing anything with maybe Düsseldorf, but now you can do it easily with Turkish Airlines.
Right.
Or maybe you were not planning anything with Malaga, now you can go to Malaga easy, and maybe that is also giving support. So that is already achieved. As I said, main target, of course, as an airline, to increase the number of flights, to increase the load factors, to add more flights, and to be present forever.
That are the objectives, but what is exact plan that you have for another year, or in 2 years time, or this much time we are adding more flights, or I don't know what?
It's like that. Honestly, that operational difficulties has to be a little bit solved. And personally, I am also, and also the Association of Airlines, we are pushing for that. If that operational environment becomes more feasible for airlines, I'm sure all the airlines, not only us, will try to increase their flights. So that is number one. We don't have any background agenda. At the end of the day, we are a commercial airline.
Yes.
Turkish Airlines is like, everybody thinks that it's government airline, but it's a private airline. But government has big share. So as a commercial airline, main target when you fly to a destination is just to add more flights, bring more tourists, give more connectivity. And our target is, now we have around 389 aircrafts. Now our target is to be 500 very soon. So when you reach to 500, how will you fill these aircrafts? You have to either add new destinations, or you have to add new passengers, or you have to increase your frequency in the destinations. So that is our main agenda for sure. And Istanbul is one of the best hubs in the world. Forget one of the best, directly the best, let me say. The best hub in the world, I believe. So we definitely want all the Nepalese to fly via Istanbul and do stopover in Istanbul 2-3 days to know more about the culture. And if I explain about Istanbul, like the importance of Istanbul for the world, if you go from east to west, Istanbul is west. If you come from west to east, Istanbul is east. So it is directly the combining point of the world. And I think that is a big advantage for the people who wants to travel, plus also who wants to trade, plus also who wants to know more about the world, to widen their world. If we we'll continue trying to explain the meaning of that. And I'm sure that will be like, we'll have much more better relations in near future. I believe in that.
You said operational issues, that means be it a ground handling, be it a fuel price issue.
Yeah, these are the main things. These are the main things, honestly. I mean, those two is the main cost for the airlines. And if they are very high, of course the operation becomes less feasible. So we are continuously trying to explain that, honestly. And we want definitely the business environment to understand the story and push for the same.
Right.
Because this is not for me personally, and this is not for airlines on Turkish Airlines only. It's also growth of aviation and tourism, plus, believe me, in trade also. More airlines means more business coming to country. That's it. It's very simple.
How is the competition among the airlines? Is it really very tough, or for you it's not that?
That is something, as I said, that part is our job. That part is our job. There is always competition. We are okay with healthy competition, is always fine. That helps airlines also to improve themselves, to improve their services. Of course, try to manage their costs and everything also. Healthy competition is always fine. No worry on that. No worry on that. We are happy with that.
Okay.
We are happy. Honestly, I wish that they, like one day Lufthansa, British Airways, KLM flies to Nepal, then see Turkish Airlines that time.
Right. Right.
See that? So it means that because we achieved, they also wanted to come, and we will be the most proud airline at that time.
Yes.
And we'll have more flights than today for sure.
Yes.
In that day. So that is, if we can create that environment, we'll be more than happy.
No, it is even surprising for us also, because if we talk about 5-7 years or 10 years maximum, some other airlines where their name used to be in the top of the mind, but suddenly in 5-7 years time, Turkish Airlines is on the top of the
That's
mind.
good. Thank you.
So how that happened?
We worked hard. We worked hard. Let me say like that. We really work hard.
Okay.
We really work hard, and we try to really do our best, whatever the conditions are. We always try our best, and I want everybody to be comfortable on that. That whatever can be done, we are trying with our best all the time.
Okay.
So I think that goodwill, that ethic approach, affected people in a positive way. Thanks to them, of course. Nothing can happen. Thanks to all team also. Everybody in our team work without any excuse, just to make people travel more comfortable. So almost everybody in our team work very hard, from our driver to our marketing team, from our sales team to airport team, from the manager to country manager. So everyone in the company, everyone in this association, also our friends in, of course, headquarters, because we have to maintain the things with them. So believe me, everybody worked very hard to make things happen. It's not an easy thing, but if you really do by heart, people understand that. We believe in that.
Is it so that because you are the very professional umpire of the football, that also helped in quick decision making?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think Archana gave you the tip.
Actually, she didn't give.
She didn't give you the tip. Okay.
I had that question in my mind.
Honestly, that helped me a lot. I may advise you one interesting thing. Later on, maybe one day do a research for all the friends here. I saw that you have a good team also. Yeah, that really helped.
Okay.
I have to say that. Let me explain you.
Please.
I don't want to take too much time, but it's like that. I was a soccer referee, and when you are doing soccer referees, there are many supporters in the stadium.
Yeah.
So there is big effect.
Right.
And believe me, normal person cannot even walk from one side to other side.
Yes.
You have to be very strong in mind for that.
Yes.
So then you come to the field, 22 players, everybody has a different rhythm, different mindset, different approach. Sometimes they are very clever, sometimes they just want to play football, sometimes they become tired.
Right.
Of course, and also it's 90 minutes. Everybody puts physical effort.
Right.
The area total is 6,000 square meters, 60 to 100 roughly, a little bit more than that. 6,000 square meters. In that area, you need to see everything, you need to hear everything, you need to be very much exempted from all outside effects, and you have to make the decision, even you are also putting physical effort, in almost less than 1 second.
Right.
So that's really tough.
Very aware.
That's really tough. That creates awareness, of course. And I worked also in crisis management teams of Turkish Airlines before. So yeah.
So it means that what do you care more, speed, quality, or business decisions?
No, honestly, speed itself doesn't mean anything, because you have to make correct decisions with that speed. I mean, if it is not correct decisions, what I can say mainly what we say in airline business, also in normal trade, they say you should expect unexpected a little bit, and you should have your BCD plans. You should have your game plan very well in hand. Like without knowing that, like it's not easy to manage. Like when things happen, you don't have time to manage that. So you have to be ready for the things in your mind prior. And that is, for me personally, of course, team get different educations. They get different marketing education or sales education. But for me, that like my refereeing life helped me a little bit on that. Because when something happens, you should know what to do, you know. I mean, if you don't know that, you'll be in big problem. And you have to make your BCD plans very carefully. Like if you are going to the game, all of a sudden, if your tire bursts, you should be knowing the way how to reach there on time still. You cannot say, sorry, but my tire was burst. I came a little bit late. Hey, sorry guys, just run 15 minutes, I'm coming soon. So you cannot say like that. So that is like BCD plans has to be ready. Like in aviation also, there is no sorry. You have to make things correct and on time. That of course a little bit creates stress, a little bit pressure on the team. But as I said, as professionals, that's our job to manage that stress and pressure. So I think we were too much under pressure. So we became like.
I never see you as a pressurized person.
See, that's good.
You
that's
are
good.
always smiling,
that's
happy.
Good. No, that is that internally maybe you, but definitely you have to. But you know, I mean, if you try to make your plans better, then you stress yourself also less. I mean, if you know that you did whatever you should do in a best way you can do, and you think the other options, for example, when the aircraft departs from Istanbul to Kathmandu, let's say if I give an example from today's morning's flight, it departed from Istanbul around 11 in Nepal. So we were ready and following the flight. If anything is happening, this, that. So before it lands in the morning, we were ready for what can happen, and how it should be managed. You know, so we do that preparation time. That is, as I said, this happen on the background. So, and we already, like, thanks to team, because they are okay with my at least text messages at late nights, early mornings. So already we were briefed everything before the flight lands here. So that is how we should operate, and that is the nature of the business. It's not like something related with me. Everybody who does airline business do the same mostly. So aviation helps you on that. I mean, you have to make it ready prior. You can, when the things happen, it's not easy to manage. Let's say if something technically happens, if some, like, let's say delay happen, layover happens, like we keep standby, our team standby all the morning. Like in pandemic times, like almost 5-6 people, like 3 hours intervals, everybody was on standby for any kind of things which can happen. Not an easy life. That part was a little bit pressuring and stressful. But to manage things in a better way, that was the thing we were doing from our side, and making people just feel themselves comfortable without knowing that that is like created from our side. So if they feel comfortable, we all feel happy. I think here the satisfaction is good when you see people happy. So that motivates us, and that's where the smile comes. If people feel happy. Today, an high official was traveling with us, and she said that thank you for making everything smooth all the time. So that's okay. Now, with this motivation, we can go 2-3 days. Fine. We can smile for 2-3 days. That's good enough for us.
Finally, do you want to say anything about tourism, government, Khan, or anything else? I forgot to ask. Or
so
you want to mention?
I am about to leave the country. I have to say that part at the end of this month, most probably. And this is like now, maybe you heard also just before we started. So of course we loved Nepal a lot. Me and my family also, my wife, my kids, all of them loved the country a lot. And we had great time. We had great friends. We had great people here. And great memories, of course. Definitely it will be always in our mind. And wherever we are, we will always, Nepal's tourism will be in our mind, because we really worked in that area very hard. So it's like kind of child for us. I mean, when I see Nepal's tourism growing, the numbers increasing, the quality of the tourism is getting better, more like a kind of infrastructural improvements are there. Whenever I see that, I will feel happy for sure. So now the most of the job are on the friends who were working together with us.
Right.
They should do one more they should work for me also.
Right.
And definitely our new friend coming to here also will work in the same areas.
Right.
So country has a big potential, and now when people look, they just look on the, when you ask that, like, if the country is rich, poor, everybody just looks at the GDP and other values, but other things, or trade levels. But we should not forget that the main richness is the culture you have. So Nepal should keep that for sure, and as much as keep their young population in the country to produce more for the country. And please don't think that I am dreaming, but Nepal will achieve big targets soon. I mean, I can see that potential.
I see.
Potential, like the new generation especially. You are the new generation for me, so
thank you.
New generation is coming strong, I believe.
Okay.
They will achieve many targets. I see how they work. I see how they are integrated to work. I see how they are getting good quality of education abroad, even here also. Like some of them are going for masters, coming back. I have seen many friends now coming back also. So this will help the country to improve. Just needs some time, and needs also a little bit dedication. Tourism will grow. 5 million. I don't like. I'm sure it will be reached. Definitely, that will touch to every people also. And like, you have a wonderful country. I mean, you should know the value of the country. And hopefully, we have more climbers coming from Turkey to Nepal also.
Right.
So these are the main things. And definitely, I want both of the countries to have embassies. Like Turkish embassies is planning, as I said. Hope Nepal embassy will open soon in Turkey. Then we'll have better relations.
Right.
So we'll be very happy when we see one Nepalese with a Turkish doing some business, going holiday together, or meeting somewhere. We'll be very happy for that.
I wish you that you come as an ambassador of Turkey to Nepal.
Not our field, but we are like voluntarily ambassadors. No need. We don't need any title for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Very, they were candid and very motivating answers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.